Hey there my friends, thanks a lot for stopping by once again, and I am very happy to welcome everybody else who is new to this channel. The weather has not been very great lately, so I decided to speak about this topic that I had in my mind for a while now, which is paragliders versus powered paragliders, short PPG. So let's jump right into it.
Look at this, guys!
Now, you have to keep in mind that both have pros and cons, but today we are going more to focus on 5 things that you should know before starting paragliding. Now, it doesn't matter if you are already a paraglider pilot or if you want to become one, you should keep in mind these 5 things that I think are very important, and I also wish I knew them before I started paragliding. The most important factor of paragliding, number 1, thermals. As you might know, as a paraglider pilot, you are every time in a constant search of the best thermal, the best bubble, to stay as long as possible in the air. If you don't have a good day where you get some nice bubbles, some nice thermals, you are not going to be able to stay too long in the air. Now, as a PPG pilot, you don't have to really bother yourself with this thought, where can I actually find thermals? In which direction can I fly to find the thermals? You just have this fan strapped to your back and you can give yourself the direction where you really want to fly. That's very important to keep in mind before starting paragliding, that you are going to be often on the ground waiting for some nice weather to start. You are not going to find thermals every day. You are often going to be pissed off that you had to land. So I think that's a very important thing to keep in mind. Number 2, the meteorological factors. Short weather. Let's assume you have a very nice sunny thermal active day and you want to have a nice flight. So what are you going to do? You're going to check your app, check the internet and see how the wind situation is at your local launch site or the launch site that you want to take off. And it might happen, unfortunately, pretty often that you will have the wrong wind direction. So that means for you a takeoff is technically impossible. Here's the difference for a PPG pilot. He can just stay at the launch site, which is most of the times on a flat meadow, and he is being able to just adjust himself to the wind direction. So he can just take off no matter what, if it's from the west or northwest or southwest, or it doesn't matter. Important is for him to have a clear path, to be safe, to be able to take off, and that's pretty much it. For a paraglider pilot, as me too, we are just pinned down if the wind comes from the wrong direction. So you might have a great, awesome day, a very thermal active day, very nice, to be able to have very long flights, but you can just not take off. You have to take in consideration as well that sometimes if you really want to fly, you will have to travel, who knows, maybe 50, 60, 70, 80 kilometers or like 30, 40 miles somewhere further away to just find a launch site to be able to take off. Now the problem is that the wind direction might change with the time that you need to travel to that destination, right, to your new launch site. So you might also be a bit frustrated when you find yourself there and noticing that the weather is just still great, but you have the wrong wind direction. It happened to me as well when I went in France, 150 kilometers, which is like maybe 100 miles, 90 miles. I traveled down France and I wanted to fly and everything was completely bad. Like the wind picked up and it was just a catastrophe. Number 3, hiking to the launch site. Most paraglider pilots are going to be in a club and be driven up to the launch site. I am different, I like to hike. I am every time taking in consideration when I arrive at my landing site that I will have now to walk 1 hour to my launch site. A PPG pilot never has to think or to worry about this aspect because he never has to hike nowhere. It would be anyway crazy considering the fact that his equipment might weigh easily 25 or 30 kilograms. So I just want to help you guys out there who maybe want to become paraglider pilots, or maybe you are already and you can relate to what I'm telling you. It is sometimes really frustrating to know that you will have to walk up to your launch site, and who knows, sometimes it's lucky, you have lucky days where you can really fly longer, sometimes you just go immediately down, so it's a give and take. Number 4, the time. Why I'm saying the time is because everybody has a normal job, or I assume almost everybody has a normal job, and you might have 2 days free a week or a day free a week, and exactly in those days you might have the bad weather, which doesn't mean rainy weather or stormy weather. It just maybe simply means that the wind is not coming from the right direction. Of course, this is at least my personal opinion. Most of the times it happened to me that I couldn't take off because of the wind direction. Of course, it might also happen that the wind is overall way too strong, and as well for a PPG pilot or for a paraglider pilot it's just not possible to start. And now let's talk about the last point, which is point number 5. Costs. As a paraglider pilot or as a PPG pilot, of course you are first investing money in your equipment. Once you have it, done. Well, that's done mostly for paraglider pilots. Why I'm telling you that is because once you have the equipment, you can just hike up the mountain, take off, fly, land, pack your gear back up, and just head back home. As a PPG pilot, you will have to keep in maintenance your engine. You will have to as well think about the fuel consumption, but I'm sure some of the guys who fly PPG know exactly what I'm talking about, because there are many little parts that maybe get broken, you have to replace them, you have to keep in maintenance. A paraglider, on the other hand, is not much that you really have to keep in maintenance, except maybe once in 2 years or once a year, it depends. You don't really have to replace no parts. Another big thing about having a PPG is that you will have to transport your wing and your engine with a car, which is maybe another problem if you don't own a car. Me as a motorbike rider, I just pack up my paraglider, strap it on my back, and I head to my local launch site. Okay, so there you have it. Those are the 5 most important aspects that you have to keep in mind if you want to become a paraglider pilot or if you are already one. Now, I love paragliding and I would not exchange it to be a PPG pilot. Both are great, but I feel that flying without an engine to your back and feeling really free and just using the winds to fly, it's a very, very, very big accomplishment. Now, I would still love to mention something very positive about owning a PPG. You can fly wherever you want, of course, as long as it's not prohibited, and you can maintain your altitude, something that you cannot really do with a paraglider. That's a big benefit, in my opinion, and it's just something magnificent. Okay guys, I hope this video was helpful for you, and I hope that you enjoyed it as well. Please feel free to subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, click on that notification bell as well, and maybe share this video as well with your colleagues. I would gladly read the comments from the comment section below. If you have to add up something of why it's nice to fly a paraglider or why it's nice to fly a PPG, or pros and cons, I am gladly reading your comments. So until next time, fly with passion, stay safe, and see you in the next one. Bye.